Laserdicks, you sexy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Laserdicks. I'm Chris.
And I'm Ken.
Hey, and so this month, I guess, this is kind of a monthly podcast, we are doing anime.
Sugoi desu ne.
Yeah, for all you weeaboos out there. Weeaboos?
Hey, weeaboos.
Boos? Yeah.
I mean, there's double O. It's a double O.
Yeah. And it sounds cooler, in my opinion. I like weeaboo. Not to use it derogatorily, but derogatorily.
What an asshole!
Right? This guy who's hosting a show. Clearly, he's the asshole. I am. But, so, we are doing anime, because the Japanese, just as a whole, fucking loved Laserdiscs.
Oh, God, yeah.
So they have a lot of cool stuff with their shit. They even continued producing it for another, I want to say 2 years after America gave up on it.
Yeah, like 2001, that's when I have my copy of Phantom Menace.
Yeah. And it was Japan exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, what was it? Sleepy Hollow is considered to be the last or one of two because they both came out the same month.
It's the one you care about.
It's the one I care about because it's the only one that matters. I don't even remember what the other one's called. It was a crap movie that no one saw, which killed Laserdiscs. But Sleepy Hollow came out, I want to say in 2000, or the home video release was 2000, and that's the final one. And then like 2001-ish was when the Japanese market stopped producing them. So you have cool gems like Star Wars Episode 1 that you can get on Laserdisc because but only Japanese because you wouldn't have, it was too late for the American market.
Exactly.
But so we're talking just anime though, so get that Episode 1 junk out of here.
Oh no.
As you should, because it's a terrible movie. So Ken is more of an anime guy than I am, so I'm going to start this one off with my one anime Laserdisc, which I saw at KatsuCon while I was hanging out with you. This guy was just dumping all of his Laserdiscs, and I was like, "Well, I've got to pick up some while I'm here." And I saw this one, I was like, "You know what? I'm not huge into anime, but I remember this one being really good." And I want to check it out, and I want to have the disc, see what that's all about. And it is the monumental, the phenomenal Akira.
Yeah. Now, I mean, to be fair, like even if you're not an anime fan, you heard about this movie.
Yeah. I never was into anime, and I still saw it at a Blockbuster, and I was like, I got to check this out. I've heard about it.
Yeah. Like it was beautiful. It was gory. It was bloody.
And music videos and movies have all been inspired by it, and not rip it off, but pay it homage. I
mean, yeah, there's a high count of that, motorcycle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that motorcycle slide. Everyone fucking does it.
Oh my god.
Even Batman Forever did it. And it's happening in 3 years, so look forward to that.
Oh, 2019.
Yeah. Right here on the back cover, 2019.
I think a lot of these, in fact, I have a couple of animes here that take place in the far future. We're already past Evangelion. So.
Yeah. Oh, well. And we're past, we're almost up to Blade Runner. I think Blade Runner was also 2019. Inception Day for all of the replicants is passed.
Okay.
But the events of Blade Runner coming up still, which we'll talk about Blade Runner. Don't worry.
I need to actually watch that. So.
Oh well, you can.
But
watch.
Which version?
You can borrow my Blu-ray because it's the better version.
Okay.
the Laserdisc is fine, but the Blu-ray is the final cut. Anyway, so Akira. This is a pretty sweet one. This is the Criterion Collection copy, the 92 printing. I remember when I first got it, I started talking to a couple of the Laserdisc guys that I have on Twitter. And found out that there's actually two printings of the Criterion Collection, and both of them are slightly different. I have I believe the easiest way to figure out which one you have is the release date. This is the 92 version, and it uses the Wally Burr recording or the Streamline dub for the American version, which is, to my understanding, and again, I'm not a huge anime file, so I might be wrong, but is if you're going to watch it in the English dub, which I do because I'm terrible at reading subtitles, that's the preferred version.
I mean, most of the time, like, I'll watch it in English too. Like, if it's late at night, I don't want to have to stare.
Yeah. But so this is money. For the most part, it's CAV. I believe the final side, I'm pretty sure it's all CAV. I was about to say something backwards. A lot of times the final side will be CAV, but everything else is CLV, which I always thought was silly. But at least you get the climax, you get the third act in those movies, CAV. But so it's split along five sides actually, which is annoying because the fifth side, which is a separate disc that you have to pop in, is literally just the aftermath. It's the denouement, if I may, the denouement if you're American, which I am. It's the stuff post climax. So it's just. And it's literally the title of the chapter is After the Destruction. So you get the cool stadium, fight scene with the blob. Is that Tetsuo? I always forget. Yeah, the blob Tetsuo and all of that shit. That all happens. Side 4 ends. Side 5 pops up, and it's just fucking Tetsuo Akira. I don't know. I don't even remember. It's been too long since I've watched it. Kaneda. Yes,
Tetsuo.
this guy.
That guy with the red jacket.
Yeah, Canada.
Blame Canada.
Yeah, going on, riding off into the sunset, essentially. Right, because Akira is that weird god thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm already. It's a fucking dense. It's a dense story, guys. Anyone who's watched it, anyone who's read the manga, which I have not, it knows and will tell you that it's a dense story. So like, it's hard for me to keep some of the characters straight. But one thing that I really like about this, since it is split into 3 discs, it actually has a trifold, and so you actually have one disc when you open it all the sides up. You have one disc to your left, one disc to your right, and then one disc right in the center too. So
you probably have to fold it back.
It's so awkward to get the middle disc out, but it's really cool. It's open on either side, so presumably if you're getting the second disc out, it's because the first disc is currently in the player, so you don't have to worry about it falling out. And then there's a huge write-up on the back that talks about the history of the making of Akira and the Laserdisc in general. And if I skim it correctly, I believe right here it says that the it was done in 70 millimeter. Like this was.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why it looks so good. And like naturally, Criterion Collection, they pulled the 70 millimeter. They scanned the 70 millimeter for this Laserdisc, so it's beautiful. And then big thing on the sixth side. I assume it's on the 6th side. It might be on the 5th side because it doesn't say. It just says supplement on the chapter listing. So it's probably the 5th side. They have so much bonus features, or so many, I guess. Bonus features, yeah. And it's all like from the pages of the manga all the way to this Laserdisc, just like little like mini featurettes, little documentaries just showing you how they did, like the manga, and then jumps to the storyboards, the character models, the layouts and backgrounds, sound, all kinds of stuff. And it's just well made Laserdisc. And speaking of it being the Criterion Collection, Kenneth here and I figured out while we were doing some last minute research, this is the first animated movie to ever be put on Criterion, and for 20 years was the only animated movie to be Criterion, bumped out of the solo position by the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I mean, I'm not knocking Fantastic Mr. Fox because I grew up with the book, and I like what they did with the animation style. It's just, what a weird movie to choose, like this 20-year sabbatical of animated movies. All right. I mean, it's kooky enough for you, Criterion.
Yeah, so, I mean, whatever. I mean, I hate Wes Anderson, so I'll never see Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Really?
And I didn't read the book growing up, so I hold no candle to it.
Well, you at least saw Matilda, did you?
I did see Matilda.
Yeah, because that's the same author.
Same author. Yeah, it's all Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love Roald Dahl.
Ooh, BFG's coming.
Yeah. I didn't read that book either, but
I should give you I've got like a it's a thick blue book of like a bunch of different excerpts. Yeah. It's fun to look at.
Okay. Does it have the witches?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
That one's pretty good.
And Angelica Houston is amazing in that movie. I like to call her Houston. I think it's Angelica Houston, but I'm a big fan of Superman 2, so I say Houston.
All right. Well, I guess we got my stack now.
Yes, you can go right ahead.
I've got my wonderful stack right here. So, much like you, when you picked up that from Katsucon, a lot of these I purchased around the same time. The gentleman, I believe, like needed money for medical bills, but he didn't. He wanted to basically make sure that his movies went to a good home.
Yeah.
So he sold them on the cheap. Like I literally got this huge stack for like I think maximum $60.
Yeah, I think I paid like $20 for the stack that I got, and I forget all the ones, but it was definitely Akira and the special edition Terminator 2 that I have, and then like 3 others.
Nice.
Which so $20 for that, not bad.
Oh yeah, I spent a little bit more mainly because I got a couple more box sets,
and he also had just a lot of anime, which, as I said, not a huge anime person.
Exactly. So we'll get into my choices. So part of my choices in getting anime is that I'm a big fan of the company Gainax, who's done a lot of great mech and other styles of animation. They've been around for a good long while. In fact, one of the fun facts about them is that they got their start doing in-house animation. There was a couple guys that did in-house animation for an opening music thing for a convention. If you look it up, it's Daikon 4 and then Daikon 5. But it just
wants conventions to die.
No. No. I mean, it was just like they wanted to promote the convention and make a cool thing. So they all got together, all these guys that were coming out of like college, and they made this cool thing. So that's their start. And they eventually moved on. My first, I think, timeline-wise of the set here is Nadia. And this Nadia release is interesting because it's one of the early American anime releases. We popped this in. It actually has, I forget, did it have subtitles?
No. It went straight to the English dub.
Yeah, but it had English dub and it had Japanese dub.
Yeah, which I believe means no subtitles because subtitles on Laserdiscs are burnt in.
You're right.
You don't have the option to turn them on and off.
You're right.
So I think for the most part, the releases of DVD or of Laserdiscs were like either you're going to have subtitles or not, and if they're going to do an English dubbing, I think they just didn't bother doing subtitles.
Exactly. Unfortunately, this English dub is horrendous.
It was
it's like basically all the actors decided we're going to do English and French accents because this takes place in France, but we're going to do these really goofy and odd accents. It's just like
it was basically stereotype accents.
Yeah, and more credit to the Japanese dub because like there's no such accent. I mean, it's harder for a Japanese person to do an accent anyway, but you could have an American accent in Japan. Like you've got that, hey baby, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like I've had that stereotypical accent come out on a couple different shows.
Yeah.
God, like no, I won't reference that. That's not an actual
Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
When you said that, I was like, that sounds just like the main character from Cowboy Bebop.
Exactly. So there's nothing too special about this. I mean, it was just in the day and age of simple, just straight to VHS and DVD. Although, fun fact, this is a CAV quality and CLV.
Oh, yeah, it's probably like what I was saying earlier. Like, side 1 is probably CLV, side 2 is CAV.
No, probably because they have the opening and endings right there. So that's fun. This is a little fun. So that's actually one of the only American animes that I've got, or at least like American.
When you say American, like you mean okay? So right. So it's the American market version. It's all in English. The writing, at least, is all in English, like on the back there. And so it was, and probably why the English dub is the default. Yeah. Okay. So
exactly.
Now I know what you mean.
There wasn't a lot of American anime, or at least American released anime titles. Like Akira was a movie, and Akira was well known, so that's why it came over. But this, I mean, this is the only one that I've got. Like everything else is in Japanese.
Yeah, straight up all Japanese.
So the next up is my personal favorites, Evangelion. Like if you know me personally, like this is all I talk about.
Actually, becoming friends with you got me to watch Evangelion a second time. Like, I'd seen it back in high school, and I had no fucking idea what was going on.
Oh, God,
much like Akira, it's one of those dense ones.
Oh, yeah.
But like befriending you, I went back and rewatched it, and like got to kind of like talk with you about some things that were going on, and also just in general, my like post film school, douchiness. I quote unquote got a lot more of it, and really, Evangelion's probably up there with my favorite animes too.
Yeah,
at this point,
honestly, like at this point in time, though, I think in order to get more out of it, instead of like investing a lot of time watching every little detail, get a fan of Ava, because they're just gonna have an encyclopedia knowledge anyway. So like
and you guys talk a mile a minute, so you burn through all of the slow, drama heavy, scenes that like take 10 minutes longer than they need to.
Oh God! Like you just have like
that terrible American dub that just has the locust in the background on loop, and it's only like a 4-second loop.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, and Ava was so funny. Like they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Because the whole plot line in Ava is that there's like not nuclear fallout, but like there's an event that like shapes the world differently, kills all the seasons, so it's perpetually summer, and that's why you have cicadas everywhere.
Yeah, it's cicadas, not locusts. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because cicadas are more prevalent in Japan.
Yeah. Well, we get them every like 7 years here.
God, we've only had them once in my lifetime. It's so weird. Like at least I only remember.
I think the last cicada movement before the most recent one was like when you were like 5.
No, God.
So I remember it because I'm about 5 years older than you. So like I was old enough to be like, oh, there's these bugs everywhere, and they're really dumb, and they don't know how to fly, and they keep hitting things. Yeah.
So I freaking love Evangelion. Like, and what I've owned both the special edition End of Evangelion Laserdisc set, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, I remember you and I watched that.
Like, it has everything.
And it was like one of the, at the time, like when we watched it, it was one of the most beautiful Laserdiscs I'd ever seen. Like Akira is up there on that level too, and like my RoboCop and my Evil Dead 2, like because they're all later releases. But like that Evangelion, I don't think it was a later release. I think
it was a movie release.
Yeah, yeah. So it was probably much like Akira. It was a very high quality transfer. I imagine Akira was such a big thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they had like a 70 millimeter of that too.
Oh yeah, I mean they probably did.
Check the liner notes.
Exactly. And I think to this day, like they use the Laserdisc as the quote unquote best transfer.
Yeah, the benchmark.
The benchmark for like I've got a couple of MKV rips of Evangelion, and that's probably what they use, just in better quality. So what's fun about besides the End of Evangelion, with End of Evangelion they've got a big old booklet of storyboards in it.
Oh, nice.
They've got an action figure you put together, which I haven't. I need to, but and then they had a plushie. They had like a fun little white winged Ava plushie, and they had both the End of Ava and the Death and Rebirth, which were the 2 theatrical movie releases for Evangelion. Death and Rebirth ended up being the kind of like, here is a clip show of all the major plot points to the series with some extra fun added stuff in. And then Death and Rebirth had 20 to 30 minutes of the final movie they were going to do. And then End of Ava came out, which had those 20 and 30 minutes plus the rest of the movie, which just had, and this encompassed all fuck you to the fans, which had the proper ending in Hideki Anno's opinion, but then also had, hey fans, I know you wanted like an action-packed thriller ending. You're not going to get it. You're going to get it for the first half. You're not going to get it for the second half. We're going to have this mind fuck about it.
That's the thing that I loved the most. I was like, this is like on my second watch through, I was just like, fuck yeah, this is so cool. It's so cerebral.
Exactly. And it's the point where he gets to have a lot of fun art.
Yeah.
Fun art style and fun with the show. Like, it gets to the point where, like, in the original theatrical release, they went in and filmed everybody sitting down in their seats to watch the movie, then went back and put that footage into the movie.
Which is ridiculous to think that they were able to do that, because you gotta do that on film. Like, luckily they had like 2 hours to like take the, like if I remember correctly, watching it was basically just the people filing into the theater.
Exactly. So they probably could like have a buffer of people.
So they probably were done filming before they even started the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got to develop the movie and then like slap it onto the final reel of the film.
Mm-hmm.
But like you didn't really have like a computer to do that on. Like nowadays you could fucking show a live feed of the people watching the movie.
Yeah.
And like it's not impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But like to do that like must have been wild, and there were people dressed up as characters, so like they would have in theory known that it was them.
Exactly. I would have two things. I would have loved to have been there in that crowd and watch people, and then B, I want to know like how they did it. Like I just know what they did. I want to know like how they did that, how they accomplished that.
Yeah.
So that's the special edition End of Eva and Death and Rebirth box set. And then Evangelion was like a big fan of Laserdisc. Like I'm pretty sure if you're an anime director, you loved Laserdisc back then.
Yeah.
So every single episode came out on Laserdisc. I think there was about maybe 11 or 12 Laserdiscs in all. Yeah, because this is the 10th volume here, and I'm pretty sure there's like at least, what episodes were these? 21, I want to say, is this chapter 21?
By the way, since we were talking about Wild Wild West, I just bought Wild Wild West on Laserdisc.
Ooh.
So, future episode.
We can have a Wild Will Smith episode.
Yeah, why not?
You've got Men in Black?
No.
Oh, we should get Men in Black.
Yeah, we should.
I
know it's on Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Independence Day is too.
Nice. All right. I'm trying to figure out what episode this was. Is it in the inside here? Oh, here we go. So this is volume 10. So this is episodes 19 and 20 of the Evangelion out of 26 episodes. So this is right around the point where Shinji gets absorbed into he gets absorbed into Aven Unit 1 after eating one of the angels, and that's this awesome looking cover. Like you look at this cover,
yeah,
like
no, that's a badass cover. That makes me want to watch it.
Exactly. Like it's a picture of Eva 1 going berserk. And one of the cool things about the Laserdisc releases for Eva is that they have like a bunch of different titles and like different text from the series. Because one thing Anna loved was like making these posters and pulling random text out and just putting in the background. And it was a cool looking effect. And then some of these are lines like Dame na no ne mo, like I can't do this anymore. It's no use. Synchro 4,000 or 400% synchro rate. Like it's these are all quotes and different titles, and like it's a really cool release. Much like most Laserdisc release, you've got on the inside like a full kind of description of what happens. Like this is even cut by cut of each different title.
Very cool.
Yeah, and you got a little
inside the bifold. Lovely.
Yeah. And you got the cast listed there, background music. Wow, this is actually kind of cool because they even had a full like mega album released, like at least 12 disc of all the different music used. And I think the titles match up with this because they had weird titles I remember that had like E-1, E-16, X6 and stuff like that. And these are all marked for all the different chapters and things. Wow. And then obviously a couple different stills. And on the back you have
wasn't maybe it was an End of Even you were showing me that didn't like inside the bifold didn't have like schematics for the angels, or not the angels, the
Avas.
Yeah, the Avas, yeah.
They might have. I mean, I know they probably had a lot of that in the booklet. The booklet too.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, with all the keyframes and everything like that. One fun thing that Ava loves to do, they love to shove knowledge in your face. So in the back you have like a little glossary of the major angel that they fight, the 14th angel, and then a definition of Tokyo 3 and a little images of that. These were actually included finally in English when you had the Platinum Edition, which had a lot of these little booklets with details like this. So this is the first time in English that you could see it, but it's cool to see where they got it from. So that's wow. Talked a lot about Ava. Like this is.
Hey, I'm sure if you wanted to, we could revisit Ava and like do a whole podcast or a whole episode just on Ava, just because of how extensive those Laserdiscs are.
And I'm deep. Well, not even lasers. Like, as a fan of Ava, like, you just eat up anything that comes your way. Like, heck, I'm so deep rooted. I even translated a 700-page fan comic that's nothing more than this little, happy-go-lucky, like, oh, it's the end of the world and we're the only 2 humans in the world. What are we gonna do? Well, let's get to know each other first, and then we'll fuck. But no, I translated that with my friend Jim, and I just met a couple of the major players in terms of Ava fandom that, they do panels at Otakon and stuff like that. So I met up with them. So I am literally a walking, talking dictionary. I could talk your ear off. Probably even do a fast forward times. I think when I showed Ava back in high school anime club, if we had to do a recap of an episode, I just said, all right, do it times 4 speed. I'm just doing all the voices. Here we go. So it's like, all right, so here, look at this angel. Okay, here's coming in. He's going to tear his hair off. Oh, look at that. Look at the blood. Okay, moving on. So, yeah, I probably could.
I feel a video project for the future.
Just give me enough alcohol, and I will literally, I'd do the entire series in one go.
There you go.
I mean, if you do it fast enough, like, it's 26 episodes, 30 minutes each. But if we do it at times 2 speed, I think we could knock it down to like 5 minutes an episode or something. Next up on my wonderful little stack here is Princess Mononoke. Like this.
That's one that has been on my list of things that I need to see.
I mean, I highly recommend it. Like, Ghibli movies typically are family friendly. And like,
I remember you were showing me the trailer for this, and I was like, holy shit.
Like, decapitation everywhere. Like, one of the major wake-up calls when I watched this movie for the first time, like, it's a little dark in the beginning but not too far off. There's a scene where, like, this poison has possessed the main character Ashitaka's arm to the point where he's like launching some arrows. Okay, I'm just gonna launch some arrows in their knee, or like, I'm gonna take them out, be peaceful about it. The curse has his arm like launch an arrow at high speed and decapitates a guy's head off with an arrow.
Damn.
And then the next arrow goes off and takes off this guy's arms, and they're just this stubby mess. Like, this movie is gory and beautiful. Like, this, like, it's a Ghibli movie, and Ghibli movies are known for their backgrounds and their characters and their wonderful keyframes.
And it's part of what the hell, the guy that did Totoro, the studio.
Yeah, Studio Ghibli.
Is it
Miyazaki?
Miyazaki. Sorry, it's one of the Miyazaki films.
Yeah, well, Miyazaki, for a majority of Ghibli movies,
he's like the director.
He's the director.
Yeah,
like, there's a few that he didn't do, and then his son did a couple. But for the most part, he's like, actually, I don't know. Did he? He may not have done this one. This might have just been under the Ghibli.
No, I know that it's part of the Miyazaki.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I can't really.
Because last month, as in February, my theater did a Miyazaki festival, and it's part of it.
Okay, fair enough. I can't, and I don't know enough kanji to read all this stuff right here. Okay. So basically, Princess Mononoke was one of my first kind of like entrance into the anime world. Back in my high school anime club, like, they would choose a lot of like high quality anime to get you hooked, and then like would play the long, boring like Rurouni Kenshi, just like, oh, it's just samurai and he doesn't want to kill anymore, but he's moody and people come after him and stuff like that. So this was like one of the first that I saw and fell in love and just like was amazed at like the kind of stuff that you could watch. So with this, like, this is the Japanese release. And it's just CLV, unfortunately. But I think they had quite a few little bonus bits in here, besides just the major movie. Like, they've got the nice little fold out here.
Oh, that's a nice, cute little couple extra pages in the fold out. Yeah,
it looks like they got some synopsis here, maybe just the background. Yeah, I'm reading some of the. Yeah, they're talking about the history of it. Okay, cool. And then they've got chapter selection, and some of the special features at the very end included some TV spots. Some behind the scenes. All this is in Japanese, but one thing that was in English that stuck out to me, it looks like this came out before they had made the American Miramax release. Because there's a little trailer in here that's entirely in English, and it's the way they're describing it sounds like, hey, boardroom executives, this is a great movie. You should buy the rights to this and distribute it. So I think this is before Miramax picked it up. Because there's no character dubs. There's just a narrator. It was just there to like sell you to buy this movie. So that's
Get it hyped.
Get hype. So that was a little fun little thing there.
Nice.
Little TV spots and yeah. 2 discs 4 sides. Which stinks that this is CLV. You'd think that they would have.
Yeah, you'd think with 4 sides it would be CAV.
Yeah. Well, they do have quite a bit of trailers and stuff in there.
Okay.
There might have been enough for a disc there. All right. So then finally, besides the end of Evangelion that I didn't bring with me, I brought part 1 of my collection. Now, this is Martian's successor, Nadesco. It's not the most well-known.
I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of it.
And we're like almost best friends.
Seriously. Why have you not heard of one of my second favorite anime?
I don't know.
But
that's on you.
That's on me. Yeah, I mean, I don't bring it up as much because it's not as well known as Evangelion, but way back when, young Ken was watching Cartoon Network, and after just watching a few animes in his club, he was like, hey, Cartoon Network, you have a giant robot week? I want to watch all your giant robots.
I do enjoy giant robots. You'd think I would like anime.
Yeah, I mean, like, giant robots
I like hot girls, giant robots.
Exactly. And Space. But the Giant Robot Week showcased a lot of, like, the cool, fun giant robots. Because, I mean, like, Gundam's a thing. Gundam's a staple. But, like, it doesn't push the envelope much. Whereas Ava, like, fucking threw it out the window. Like, hey, giant robots. Pilots have emotions, too. Let's investigate that. Yeah. This is...
The giant robots have emotions, too. Let's investigate that.
The giant robots have entire beings inside them.
Yeah. Alive.
God damn, man. Don't even get me started on, like, the backstory and, like, the elements of the problems of having a soul inside your giant robot. Mother instincts kicked in and all hell breaks loose. So part of Giant Robot Week introduced me at the first 3 episodes of Eva, and after watching them, I tuned in the next day and I was like, all right, more Eva. But then they switched to this, and I was like, what is this show? I've never heard of it. Martian's successor, Nadisco, is a similar into as Eva in terms of, hey, they took the mech genre and they had fun with it. It's not your stereotypical, like, hot-blooded or space opera type of show. It definitely knew that it was going to be making fun of, not necessarily making fun of, but, like, it took a lot of tropes and turned them on their head. Like, they made the hot-blooded Gar secondary lead in here, like, a super otaku that loved, like, stereotypical anime and collected figurines and stuff like that. And then they made the main...
just used a whole bunch of words that I don't understand.
Okay, the super nerd, otaku is nerd, or similar to nerd. Gar is a term for, like, hot-blooded, like, kick reason
Alpha
to the
male?
curb. Yeah, like an alpha male. Kick reason to the curb. Gar usually is referring to, like, scenes where you got, like, the flames of youth behind somebody, and he's saying some crazy excellent, like, my soul burns for justice, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
That's Gar. But then the lead is, like, this fry cook who doesn't want to battle, but he just happens to have the right qualifications to be a pilot in this show. So they took a lot of tropes and they turned them on their head. And this cast is a bunch of hodgepodge, never meant to be a part of this space colony, but they're all together just for the sole purpose of, like, fighting a war against the Martians and stuff like that. So I fell in love. It was a pretty fun series.
Is this the whole series you have here?
This is half.
Okay.
I have the complete series, but, like, this is the first 4 volumes. And this one thing different from how I'm going to be collecting the Evangelion Laserdisc. They did release a box that you could put them all in for Eva, but this came pre-boxed, 2 parts. I think the other one had 5 discs. But each volume comes out, and it's a lot like Eva, where they've got they even have, like, schematics for the ships and stuff like that.
I like how these blurbs kind of look like playing cards.
Exactly. I
mean, like magic cards or Pokemon cards to keep it in anime.
I think they felt like that was the thing to do with Laserdisc, because Ava does it, like, it's a popular thing to just throw some sort of word vomit in there, mainly because they didn't really have, Wikipedia back then, you know? So they had to put all their stuff somewhere. But much like Ava, they've got, like, a couple different inserts here, production notes and things like that. But yeah, I'm quite fond of Desco. And what does it for me more, too, with the English release is that they actually got the English voice actors for Asuka and Shinji to do a male and female main characters.
Oh, nice.
So they've got a bunch of scenes where they're doing the same voices, where he's like, it's not Greg Harris. Who's the guy's name? Spike Spencer does his Shinji voice, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I'll do this or not. And then you've got Tiffany Grant coming in like, hey, blockhead, just make a man out of yourself and let's go. Like, so it's a good time.
I'll make a man
out of you. Down.
That was for last month.
Okay. But
I doubt Mulan had a Laserdisc release.
No, that was in 2000s, I thought, maybe, or like
I have no idea.
Right close there. But
I've actually still never seen Mulan.
What?
Yeah, seen Moulin Rouge.
That doesn't count, buddy.
No.
That does not count, buddy. So yeah, I'm quite fond of Nadeshiko. In fact, I think a lot of people should, look at the cover.
That's a pretty cool cover.
Like, this is badass. I think this is what they end up using for the English one, too. Like, I know, like, they have this stereotypical, like, brushed art style for the box, but at least, like, the cover for the first volume is, like, it makes this guy look badass, but this guy's not badass. It's pretty similar to Shinji in the regards, like, he is, like, I'm not going to use the term pussy, but he's a wimp. He's a wimp. He's not there to win, but he has to find it in himself to like win the day. Oh yeah, and the second volume's got that forgotten hero of yesterday like fade there, and then she's the captain. So yeah, that's my stack. Don't want to get too in depth because I honestly haven't finished Nadeshiko.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, I really should.
For being your second favorite anime.
I mean, I've seen the first. It's like. I get through halfway through, and then something comes up. Like my problem with fandoms things is that I get distracted way too easily. Like referring back to the Evangelion fan thing that I did, 700 pages took us 2 years.
Yeah,
because I just kept getting distracted. But that'll be another story for another day.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that covers all the titles I've got. Got anything else there, buddy?
I did remember. Another thing that while you were talking with the research into the Akira, the voice acting studio, what was it? Wally Burr was also he's quite the famous American voice director, and he was the voice director for Transformers, the Gen 1 and the movie. And he's such a perfectionist that a lot of people, in a jovial, not jovial, but a joking sort of way, say that he's his exhausting directing style is part of the reason why Orson Welles passed away shortly after making the first the Transformers animated film from the 80s.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but so I thought that was pretty cool that something from my childhood, because he did Transformers, he did G.I. Joe, he did the 80s Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh man!
So a lot of the cartoons that I grew up with, and you're not that much younger than I am, so like you grew up with too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, the movie one was the one that was like in the year 2005.
Yeah,
oh,
and it's the best Transformers movie ever.
I don't think I've seen it.
You can borrow my DVD.
Oh, I thought you were about to say, "Get out of my house."
No, I'm not that bad. Especially after you like wax nerdy about all these animes, and you're fine with me not having seen most of them.
I mean, I'm not going to judge you. I know like
people freak out when they hear that I haven't seen Princess Mononoke.
I mean, that's a theatrical release. Definitely good of you to see it. I mean, I don't blame you for not seeing all of Ava or like Nadeshiko, because I mean, this is like kind of like the high nerdy. Like this is like there's so much fandom and like build up and like stuff around it that you almost don't want to tread into those waters.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's a good place to stop for this. Ken, do you want to sing us out?
Sure. Da 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 da. Laserdicks.